listeners, welcome to another episode of Scratch It on Saturday. I think it's episode 9. I really hope I'm correct because if you want to be sure, it's been 4 weeks since we uploaded the last episode. 4 weeks. That's a long time. I feel really bad for not making a video, especially with the whole simulator going on. But the thing is, sometimes I didn't have the mood, and I had laziness, which is a problem every human has, and I was suffering from it. And we also had other plans and commitments to deal with. So for the past 4 weeks, we couldn't really make videos, and I had this problem. So I really hope you'll forgive me. I know that's a little blunder over here. Now, I was just talking with our friend Moss. Yeah, there you go. I was just talking with Moss Mapping on this account. Now, you might be wondering what's going on with Moss. I mean, wow, we haven't made a video in like 19 days because that's when I got my last follower. I remember that. And for this episode, you're doing a bit of a collaboration, you see. I made a lot of scratchers get involved. Now, I think you guys all know the big thing that I was preparing, you know? It's finished! Oh my god, that's a surprise. It's actually finished. Now, the reason I sound so unenthusiastic, it's because it's obviously been 4 weeks and there's nothing to be unenthusiastic about, because obviously every big thing is done within like 4 weeks. Now, I was just having a conversation with Moss over here. I'll continue that after the video. This is not going to be that long of a video, but I'll still try to put some effort into it because, I did not make a video for a really long time. So I don't know if you guys saw, but like, let's click on my stuff. And if you look at my simulator, it's like the thumbnail is sort of a mess right now. Nothing is working properly. I mean, it's working properly. I mean, the just see for project still works. As you can see, the start project button is like way in there. So if you click on it, it still works. But we have all of these other sprites. And you're probably confused how I suddenly began making all this good art. Because as you guys know, I'm really not good at art, okay? I'm really not that good at drawing. And if you're wondering how I started doing it, our friend Moss was actually involved in everything. And there is another scratcher who helped to make all of this. But I'm not going to reveal the name, but because they wouldn't like if I say it, and I'm not going to expose someone who doesn't want to be exposed in front of you guys, but I will give credits to Moss. Okay, so let's just go to their profile. And also, I'm using Moss Mapping because there's something wrong with their main account and they can't really read our messages. So I'm just gonna go here and say, hey, thanks for the art. And this is something that you should do, guys, because this is always something that you should post on people's scratchers if they help you or not, because then they'll be happy. You see, they'll be happy that you helped them out. And like, let's just drop them a follow on their test account too, because they've been helping us a lot, first with the commenting example and then this. So let's just see what we can do now. I'm going to go to my stuff, we'll go to the project, and we'll start doing everything. Now, first of all, okay, we clicked on see inside to go into the project. Now let's just quickly hide all of these things that we don't even know. So let's click on this little invisible button here. Go to market stall, click on invisible, go to mini bank, click on invisible. And we're actually going to be deleting these buildings because we won't be needing them anymore, because we're going to be moving on to the mini bank and the market store. Now I'll be telling you guys what those are and what I am talking about later. And we'll also get rid of that backdrop we made last episode. So we'll click on backdrops, click here, and then we'll go like here, and we'll get rid of this blue sky because we're going to be using this backdrop today, which is obviously a lot better. And as you guys can see, it's a little different this time. Like, everything is different. I mean, this art, I can't make this art. And we have a little bit of a cool rock right here, which is a bit of pixel art, which is that other person who helped us. I'm not going to be revealing their name, of course, but I will give them credits when the project is released, but I won't show that on camera. Okay, so I'll be explaining what I was actually making. Now, the mini bank is actually the cell area for our simulator. Now, I hope you remember everything about how a simulator works. If you don't, you can just look at the last 2 episodes and then you'll probably understand what we've been doing. And basically, like, the mini bank is going to be like the sell area. So let me just show that. I'm going to put that somewhere over here so that people can actually come here and then sell their money at the mini bank. And then if we put the shop, which is of course the market stall, we can put that somewhere over here. Now we will be decreasing the size of these so it's not way too big, but this is going to be standing over here. So this is like the little people who are going to be having here. And that's what Moss made for us, this little art. And this is of course the rocks that we'll be collecting for our simulator. Oh, I accidentally deleted a sprite. Let me just go to edit, restore sprite. Okay, now the sprite is back. Okay, now this rock is of course the rock that you'll be mining, and we need to make this bigger, which we can do. Oh, and around the next few episodes we're supposed to be getting more colors and more bigger matching pixel art for these vector arts. So if you guys just can stay tuned for that, it's gonna be amusing because the person who made these are still working on it. So yeah, this is sort of like a big collaboration thing that we've all been working on. So I've just been blabbering for the last 6 minutes. You guys are probably waiting for the code. Now let's see. Well, let's start immediately, alright? Now I just want to see if Moss has responded to us. No, they have not responded to us. Okay, I perfectly well understand that. Now, I would like to mention... Yeah, in our Siren Studios, these people are still here. I told them to join for a demonstration, but they're still here. A lot of people are actually helping with like the videos thing. So I would really like to give a major thank you to those people because, you know, they have their own work to do. They could be doing anything they want right now, but instead of that, they're helping us out with the videos. And I'm really happy about that because so I'm just going to give all of them a huge shout out now. This has happened again. I should have known. Okay, not a big deal. I mean, we can just click on project, click on the inside, and let's just... Okay, so let's hide the mini bank and the market stall again. And let's just change the code a little bit. So, as you guys know, before we had that other backdrop as the second one, which we just deleted a while ago. It was that blue sky with the bushes. But now we have this other backdrop with the sun and the pathways and this grass. So I had a feeling maybe we should just like... change the code so that it changes to this because we don't want it to change to a deleted backdrop. So let's just click on backdrops, and as you guys can see, it is still saying switch backdrop to blue sky when the brightness goes out, but that won't work because that backdrop is deleted. So as you can see, if we do that, yeah, see, it comes back to the same backdrop because this isn't a valid backdrop because we just deleted it. So just remember that if you ever have a deleted sprite or backdrop and you try to switch to it, that won't work because it will come back to the same sprite or backdrop because of course that doesn't exist anymore. So if we just click here and we select backdrop 3, which is of course our little... I mean, this is backdrop 3. Wait, we should be choosing backdrop 1. Yes, we should be choosing backdrop 1. And as you can see, backdrop 1 is this guy. So if we just do this now, and we click on play the game, then as you can see, it's loading up to this new one and not this other one. And that works perfectly because that's exactly what we wanted. And I actually think that we should hide this one when it comes to the new backdrop. And as you can see, we had that code with the blue sky, but now we have another one, so we can't have that here. So once again, we change this to backdrop 1. And then as you can see now, if we click play the game, this is here now in this backdrop. But when we go to the new one, that text is gone. So the promo text only pops up in the first backdrop. So that actually works perfectly now. And we're actually going to be learning a couple of things today. Now, the first thing I'd like to mention is the backpack. Now, if you didn't know what the backpack is, it's a little tool at the bottom of your little area here. You can see a little text saying backpack. And if you click on it, I mean, no, not there. If you click on it, then you can see all of these areas. Now, let me just delete all the ones I have right now. You don't have to worry about this. I'm just doing this for demonstration. So... say you want to use the same sprites or code or sound or whatever you have in your project in another one too, or you need to copy scripts in various places because you have millions of sprites in your project and you can't do it because like you can't drag scripts around, a big confusion. Oh no, how am I supposed to duplicate this? Save me, I have a headache. you don't have to do all of that, because if you want to copy your sprites or scripts to another project, first you just have to drag your sprite. So if you have this rock, let's take this rock for an example. So if we drag this rock, you have to click on it and then select it and then drag it into our backpack. This is where our backpack is. And if you put it in here, then as you can see, the rock is still here, but another copy of it has been put into your backpack. And if you want another rock, then of course you can put that back here. And now we should have 2 rocks, and as you can see, that worked. But there's still a copy of it in our backpack. So if you put something, a sprite, in your backpack, then it stays there. But if you put it again, it still stays there. So the backpack is like a little copy machine that has like a copy of your sprites. Now let's just delete this rock because we don't need it. Now you can also use your sprite in other projects. So if you click on C project page, go to my stuff, and we go to something like, let's just say, your episode 2 project. We click on see inside, and we go to backpack, and we bring in the sprite. As you can see, the rock is also in this area, and it's still invisible. All the code that would be in it is still in there, and as you can see, the rock is here now. So that's why the rock, the backpack helps, because you can copy things to others, and you can also get a copy of Scratch Cat. Click on C project page, my stuff, and go back to our simulator and put a copy of that here. So that actually works perfectly. And additionally, if you get a button or something with code in it, and you just get that button and you put it in here and you put it back, then as you can see, not only the sprite came, but the code came along with it as well. So we also got the code. Now I have been noticing that it gets a bug with the comments. So if you put something in here and then you get it out, then the comments in both of the buttons will disappear. I only just found out that bug existed, okay? I'm not really an expert with comments. I just know they exist. Okay, so let's just get rid of all of these things in our backpack, because we don't need to be copying anything. I just wanted to teach you guys that little tool there so that you guys know. Oh, and if you want to put blocks in your area or code, then let's just make some random code. When green flag clicked, go to random position and then broadcast message 1. If you put that in your backpack, then it's basically saved in your backpack. And if you go to another project, you can just drag it back in, and as you can see, we have 2 copies of our code now. So it also works with scripts. And also, sorry if my voice sounds a little bad, because I had a sleepover with my friends recently and my voice is like dying because of that. I talked way too much, and I'm also tired, because generally I was playing around a lot and I didn't really have time to rest. So yeah, I'm also a little tired. So please don't get confused if my voice is really strange. But what we're going to do now is, we're not going to be working with the mini bank in the market store today. Instead, we're going to make it so that the rock can spawn in these areas, so that you can just go along and collect these rocks. But we're not even going to make it so that you can collect them yet today. We're just going to make it so that they spawn. And in next episode, we'll go over the collecting and the selling and buying and all the other stuff. But before all of that, yes, another thing, guys. If you click on the green flag, we have this little play the game button. But the thing is, there's no indication that there's nothing beautiful about it. Even if you hover over it, it does nothing. It's just a button. And only if you click it do you realize that it actually does something. If you hover over buttons, they should do something fun. But your button is not doing that. So what I normally use is, there's this little code in the sensing section. Yes, we're already moving on to the sensing section, and sensing is actually a really important part. So if you click on sensing, there's a whole lot of blocks here, but we'll not go to those blocks yet, because I want to teach you guys a very simple block: touching mouse pointer. So let's just get that over here. Now, if you guys don't know what the mouse pointer is, the mouse pointer is basically this little black mouse thing. That mouse, I wish I could show it right now, but this thing that's moving around right now, that's like the mouse that you are controlling. The one that is the one that is dragging in the ask what's your name and wait now, and now it's circling around it. That's what the mouse pointer is. And for example, if you click on touching mouse pointer, then it will say false. because the button is not touching the mouse pointer. So if this black things doesn't click it, but just it doesn't click it, okay? It just, you guys hear the clicking noise like this. But if I do this and I don't even click, as you guys can see, you don't hear the clicking sound. I mean, if you do this, then I hear the clicking sound. But I'm not actually clicking, so I'm just hovering over it. And if I hover over it like that, then we want something to happen, like it becoming bigger or doing something funny or something like that. And that's where touching mouse pointer comes in, because then it actually helps with that. And this block doesn't only do touching mouse pointer, it can do stuff like edge. So if it touches the edge of the project, then it will say false, because it's almost impossible to actually make it in the edge, because Scratch is not like that. It's like different. The edge is like a really complicated thing in Scratch, and it's confusing to work with. I never ever use the edge. But if you do, for example, promo text, then if I do it like this, then it says false. But if I touch the promo text sprite, then it says true, because it's touching promo text. So it works with basically anything like that. So that's what the touching block does. And also this brightness thing, because whenever you click on it, the brightness goes down, and you have to make sure that stops. Okay, so let's just we're not getting rid of it. So let's just have this right here, and I'm actually going to bring it up here. The touching promo text, I'm bringing it up here. And let's actually click on control and bring in an if then block, because we want to do something. And actually, now I think about it, even an if then block wouldn't be right. We have to bring in an if then else block. And as you can see, the if block, if you guys need a reminder, the if then block, whatever is in here, for example, a block like this, if that equals true, so if this is not false but true as it was when it was touching promo text, then a code will happen. But that's only with if then. But if then else, that code will happen if the value is true. But if it is not true, something else will happen, and we don't know what else thing will happen. That is still something we have to write down. So if we just get this touching promo text and change it to mouse pointer, and we just do this, then this is waiting for the code, but there is no code in here. And it's hovering over the play the game button, but there's nothing happening because there's no code in here. And for that, we actually have to put in, you have to go to looks, and as you can see, if you just go down here, there's this block saying set size to 100% or set size to 100 or whatever number you want. So basically what this is it basically changes the size of your sprite. So currently the size of our sprite is 100, because 100 is the normal sprite, the normal size of your sprite. How you made it, it's just like that. 100 is just the sprite. But we want to make the button bigger whenever you hover over it, and when you click it, the project runs. So if we just get the set size to 100 and we put that here, then we want to make it a little bigger. And what I normally do is I set it to 110, because that's like a little bigger than usual. So as you guys can see now, whenever I start the project and I hover over it, okay, why is that not working? Yes, I understand. So I have not been following my own rules, okay? So basically, I've told you guys that whenever you use an if statement and you want it to keep checking throughout the project, you need to put a forever block around it, because if you don't put a forever, then it will only check for 1 microsecond. That's like a human can't move his hand in 1 microsecond. That's like the speed of light. And if you can, and it only runs if you click on the button in that short space of time, and that's impossible for a single human being to do. So what you have to do is you have to get the forever loop so that it keeps checking every single microsecond, which is really, really small if it's being hovered on. And now it does get. So if you see, whenever I don't do it, but whenever I don't click it, but I just hover over it, it becomes big. But we have to deal with a couple of stuff, because the problem now is it just stays big, and if I get my mouse off the button, it should go to normal again, so that it's not constantly big. So I have to get set size to 100 again, and I have to put that in else so that it goes back to its normal size if it is not touching the mouse pointer. Otherwise, I'll just stay that way. So if you just start the project now, as you can see, it's smaller. And if I hover over it, it becomes big. And if I get away, then it's small. And this makes it so much better, so much beautiful now. And it just so much more clean. And I really love the system because this way you can actually see what's the button. But the problem with this is if you click here and you never ever leave your mouse, you just leave your mouse like this, and then you start the project, then as you can see, it's still big. It would still be big. And the way we have to stop that is by putting a set size to 100 block, because you never know. There could be a random glitch and where it decides not to do that anymore. So if you put set size to 100, it's always general good practice to put stuff to its default when you started programming. So if you have like a little data thing, then you can do like set this to that and then you change it. No matter you're sure it's 0, because then it's just good practice in programming, because you never know what could go wrong. So now if you hover over it, then it becomes big, and if you click on it, it just goes away. But what I showed you guys here, which is the size thing, was just a basic example. That was what I did back when I was a little boy, which was like 2 months ago, okay? I wasn't really a little boy. My life is really small. I just assume things. But moving away from my embarrassing stuff. So actually, the set size to 110, this works, okay? This really works. But in my opinion, we could do better. So what I normally do is, I play around with this effects block. We have this change color effect by 25. Let's just drag this inside of here. And no, actually, not even this. Set color effect to something. That works better. So if we just go to color effect, and let's just choose ghost here, because I'm going to teach you guys something. So if you just set the ghost effect to 50 or something like that every time you touch the mouse pointer, and you set it back to 0 every time you do something else, that's just going to be amazing. Because if you guys didn't know what ghost effect does, it basically makes your thing brighter. So it basically turns it a little more ghost-like, and that's a lot more nice, because then it'll turn like a little ghost-like and then go back to normal. You'll see what I mean. See? So this is like so good, because now if we hover over it, then it just turns into that little like hovering over thing. And now this is what's going to really help us, because this doesn't make it bigger. This seems more professional, like we're making a true Play Store game. This makes your game seem way better, and this is why I use the ghost effect. Now, of course, if you found the size thing better, you can always use that. That one's also recommended. And remember, if you want to do that, you just get set size, put that 110, insert that here, and make it 100 and put it here, and then that'll work. Or if you want to use my way that I'm using right now, you can also just do set ghost effect to 50 or set ghost effect to 0. So now that we've done that, let's just click on the button and let's just see what's going on. And also, we should change this so that it's actually like set ghost effect to 0, because as I said, it's always good practice in programming to do that. Also, I'm really close to my computer right now. I don't know why. I think it's just fun to do so. We're having a lot of distractions this episode. This is not good. I'm making programming videos. I shouldn't be this easily distracted. But guys, remember to have entertainment while programming. Don't just program because your parents are forcing you to, or because you want to program and you don't really like doing it. Program when you like, okay? If you really want to get a job for programming or stuff, that's something you need to worry when you're 18 plus. But right now, you're probably like a kid just like me, so you don't have to worry about all that. Just program for the fun. Try to make your own little games. Try to become famous with it on Scratch. But I'm not saying that you should immediately go crazy and start working and getting a burnout or something in your young age. Don't do that. Just do programming for the fun. That's what I'd recommend. Okay, so moving on. Let's just move on, okay? So let's go to the mini bank. And no, actually, the mini bank and the market stall are not going to be doing today. Sorry, guys, I'm tired. I'm just weird. Okay. Nami, get to the point, please. Okay. Today, we were going to be getting the rock ready so that it spawns within this area. So basically what I'm trying to do now is, the rock should not be spawning anywhere up in the sky area, but it can spawn on the rock. rock. So basically what I'm meaning is it can spawn anywhere it wants on these little rock areas, and we're going to make a system for that. And this is going to be extremely easy because all the blocks that we're going to be using for this, we already know. It's that simple as that, we already know. So what I'm going to be doing is, I'm going to be getting this dude. So I'm going to show the rock. And I'm going to put him somewhere over like here. And as you guys can see, it actually says minus 250, which is supposed to be minus 250, but it just, it's just saying that. So if you do minus 250 here, and if you do a straight line from minus 250 all the way to here, whatever will be there, now it's just a little buggy. Yeah, it will be minus 250 to 250. That is like the max X position we need. That's like minus 250 to 250. So we'll just note that down in a comment. We'll like right click, add a comment. So we'll do ground top because this is like the top area. We do minus 250 to 250. You can remember that. Oh, and I'll also leave a link to all of these I'll leave a link to this to all of these actual sprites down in the description so that you can use them too. But please, I'm just saying, please give credits to the creators. Just say something in your project description like credits to Moss W for making these, because I really don't want you guys to just steal, because you can get banned for that on Scratch. It's a strict rule that you give credits to whoever made it. I will not, however, be linking to this rock because, as you guys know, I don't want to expose the creator, but I will be linking to these sprites, okay, so that you can use them in your own project. Of course, I'll also be asking permission to Moss, and if he doesn't want that I do that, then of course I will not be linking, but I'll include the text that he doesn't want it. So yeah. Anyways, continuing, let's just go to the rock. So ground top is minus 250 to 250. So that's the max that we can do here. And if we go to here, then this is actually like the Y position. Here you just go here. Let's just drag the rock over here. Yeah, basically like here it's also 250, and from 250 it goes to like, yeah, 250 here too. But now we have to take care of the Y position, see? So the Y position is like around 10 here, you could say. So ground top, and we do, actually we can change this to ground X and ground Y. And actually it's like 10 here, and then we go here, which is actually like minus 170, you could say. Ground Y, you can do like 10 to minus 170. That absolutely works. And now actually, if we just set to now we can actually get using the like when green flag clicked, because he can't be there when we are just starting out with the project. So let's just go when green flag clicked and click on hide, so that he doesn't show up at the beginning. But when the backdrop changes to backdrop 1, he should have like his brightness at 0, because as you guys remember, the brightness should be going by 1 every 100. The brightness should be going up by 100 times, and that's what we're doing with the rock. So we'll keep the brightness at like set brightness effect. Let me just do set brightness effect to 0. Minus 100. And we'll do repeat. We know what repeat does. Okay, so repeat 100. We go here. And then we just do change brightness by 1. And you guys obviously know what this does. And now it'll just appear like in a weird way. Not exactly weird, but it'll only help that way. So if I just click on the green flag and click on play the game. I love how that works. I really love that. Okay. So as you guys see, it actually goes up with it, but we actually haven't showed it yet. So you should also make sure that's done. And you should also clear graphic effects so that it's still not in that weird brightness thing when we start the project again. So if we just click on the green flag now and click on play the game. As you guys can see, the rock is showing up along with others. So I'm just going to put that there. And I'm also going to start doing a little bit of pick random working around here. And as you guys know, our pick random up to 10 block, our favorite block ever, getting a random number chosen. Yeah, that's what we're going to be doing today. So let's just get pick random 1 to 10 block. And what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be using this comments section. I mean, not of course the comment section of the YouTube video, but we're going to be using the like ground X, ground Y to make it spawn in random areas. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to do go to X. So set X to pick random. No, actually. So we want a lot of these rocks to spawn everywhere. You know, we want a lot of them to spawn, and we want all of them to spawn at areas below this little sky area. So that's basically what we're going to be doing today. So we have to get like a little forever loop in here. And we have to do something like, let's just say create. Now let's just actually make one spawn already, because then we just do. So set X to ground X is minus 250 to 250. So if we just put minus 250 to 250, then our sprite will actually go to somewhere random. That's I actually have to put 260. Then it will go somewhere random inside of this little area. It will go anywhere randomized in here. But it can still go above here because we haven't set the Y position yet. So we just go set Y to pick random, and then we use this 10 to minus 170. Then normally it should just constantly keep spawning in places, but it never goes above the sky. It constantly spawns in this area. So you see, we've made a little spawning system right there, and that's why we actually added the ground X minus 250 to 250. Now we can fully delete this because we've already made a little system. So basically what this does is it spawns its little own thing in between everywhere. So that works perfectly, and that way we don't have to do anything crazy like marking places where it can get spawned. This way it's a lot easier, guys. See, it's like easier to do, and everything is a lot easier this way. So what we're going to do now is we're going to make a couple of clones of this man, so that the rock there are clones of him that get spawned all over the place. So let's just get like a little wait 5 seconds here, so that it waits like actually like we can wait like 7 seconds even, so that there's not rocks all over the place. So we'll wait 7 seconds so that like a create clone, like clones can get created. So we'll wait 7 seconds every time before a clone can get created, and then what we'll do is we'll just do something like create clone of myself. Now this is what these are the new blocks. So what these do is they create a clone of the sprite that they're using, and then you can control those clone with them when I start as a clone, and everything under this will happen to the clone, and you can make as many clones as you want, but there is a maximum of 300. In Scratch 3.0 they made it so there's a 300 clone limit. Because if there are way too many clones, like millions of clones, then projects will crash and will be way too laggy and way too confusing. So currently you can only make 300 clones within project. So wait 7 seconds and then you just do create clone of myself. And then we just get rid of this code and we duplicate this and we put that here. And then it will actually create a clone in weird areas. That means it will just go somewhere in here. All the clones will go to areas. And then we can get a when I start as a clone. And let's actually get this and put that under here because that works a lot better. Set X to that and then set Y. So whenever I start as a clone, it goes to somewhere weird. And if it's not, and it will just wait for 10 seconds. Like it will wait for 7 seconds again. And if it it will actually wait for 14 seconds, so that actually I'm going to make it so that it waits for 15 seconds. And if it doesn't get deleted or anything before then it will get deleted, so the clone goes away. Because we can't have rocks all over the place. That will seem too artificial and unrealistic. And this way it's a lot better. So it actually just goes to random areas, it spawns there, and then it waits 15 seconds and then it deletes itself. So basically what happens in this code is It hides when the green flag gets clicked, and it clears graphic effects so that it doesn't have a weird brightness from this area. And whenever it changes to backdrop 1 as made in our little backdrop code here, it basically goes to a random area, and then it shows, and then its brightness is like at -100, and then you do repeat 100, change brightness by 1, so that its brightness goes higher and higher along with the backdrop, and then it infinitely creates clones every 7 seconds. And when the clone gets birthed or it gets born, then it goes to a random area as well, and it waits for 15 seconds, and if nothing has happened, it deletes itself. So that's basically how our code works, if you need a recap. So if you just click on the green flag now, and you click on play the game, let's just see how the whole rock thing works, and if our whole program is working. And if we go here, you should be seeing some clones appearing in 7 seconds. Yeah, as you can see, another one has appeared. Now, I do think I'm going to change that to something like 4 though, because 7 is like way too long. I'm going to change it to something like 4.5 because that seems like optimistic and it also works. And if that's the case, then I'm also going to change this one to like what can I change that to? Let's change it to something like 13 seconds so that it's still decent. 3 clones are going to spawn. So this way there are a lot of rocks, but they also go away sometimes. So let's just see how it works. Okay, it's coming up. Sorry, I have a random code. Okay, I'm getting literally all the signals. I don't have corona. Oh, it's working. See, things are appearing. Okay, there are 3 of them here. There's another one. Yeah, one has gone away and another one is spawned. Yeah, see, another one is spawned. So basically, that's how the whole thing works. It spawns at random moments. But I am going to change it to way less though because that's taking a very long time. I'm actually going to changing it to 2. I don't even care anymore. And I'm changing the despawning time to like 5. I want speed. Bro. There's a weird speed. Okay, that's enough time to go break the rock. So, as you guys can see, it's actually spawning a bunch. And then they also despawn. And as you can see, the rocks are actually spawning and moving away. And you might be wondering, okay, there are a lot of rocks spawning, but we need other colors too. That's what's coming next episode. And with that, we conclude this episode as well. We've done so much. Wow, that was a grand comeback after all of that episodes of not coming. Look, they're just constantly spawning and we can just look at them as they spawn and go away. So let's just click on backpack. So, we've learned a lot today. We've learned how to use the backpack, which is an amazing system for transferring all sorts of assets across projects and across your own project. And we've also learned how to make like cool button effects to make it seem cooler so that its size changes or its ghost effect changes. So that it looks much more cooler when you're making projects. And we've also learned that you can make collaborations on Scratch. And like I've said a million times in my other episodes as well, you have to give credits whenever you work on things, okay? You have to give credits, otherwise you're just breaking the rules of Scratch. You have to give credits whenever you use someone else's, or you should at least try to tell that person a thank you, because that's just kind, okay? You're helping that person out. Maybe you can even drop them a follow if you're really up to it. That's what real collaborations are. You have to show affection and you should be kind and you should basically give credits to the user that made everything. Now I will be sharing these 2 sprites which we'll be going over in the next episode, and yeah, I'm going to ask Moss if that's allowed, and if he says it isn't allowed, then I'll just if he says it isn't allowed, then I'll not include it in the description, but he'll probably allow it, so we have nothing to worry about. But now that we have all of these guys, we did a lot this episode. We also managed to make this complex code, which if you really didn't understand this, I understand that the set X and Y can be a little complicated, but if you don't understand that, please ask me questions on Facebook comments. And strangely, no one is asking me any questions in my Facebook comments. Please ask me questions if you have any, because otherwise I don't know if you're understanding, okay? I'll just be moving on with the episodes. And you won't be able to continue. If you don't understand one part of programming, you can't understand the next. And it'll just keep building on until you understand absolutely nothing anymore. Because there are like this was only like 30% of what this is like only 30%. We've made 9 episodes. We've only discovered 30%. There's still like more than the triple of this to go. I'm aiming to make like 30 to 40 episodes, and we're like at episode 9. So we're going to be doing a lot of coding. So like I said before in the video, only do this if you're really certain that you have interest in programming, because you can do it for the fun. Okay, you don't need absolute crazy interest. You can also just be doing it for the fun. But some people, if you're just being forced by your parents, or you don't want to do this, or you're just doing it because you think it's cool, but you don't actually like programming, then you don't have to do it. It really isn't like necessary to program. You can just do what you want. And even if you program, you don't need to worry about making cool apps, going big and doing stuff. This is the basics, guys. Enjoy it, and educate and becoming better at it, and entertain yourself. Programming is for entertaining yourself. It's not to fill your mind with stress and go, oh no, and go crazy. All right, keep it calm. Only do it if you have interest, but also remember to learn stuff. I mean, I understand that you want fun, but it's also best to learn something sometimes. I understand first grade maths is really simple, but sometimes you need to do some of the more complex maths like modular division, square root, and all that stuff. So basically that's it, guys. And another thing I say in every single video is, you can't just immediately go to crazy game like Roblox, Minecraft, Fortnite, or something weird, some other weird game that I don't know about. You can't just immediately crazy like that. The Scratch is where you start. And if you start here, then you can slowly move on to some more complex language like making websites. And then you can move on to apps. And then you can move on to something else. And in the end, my dream is that I start making my own computer company, make my own companies. And that's how you like slowly start from basics. Everything is like that. You can't immediately go to the top and be like, I'm the expert in programming, bro. I can do anything and defeat you all. No, okay. You have to basically start basically and do what you can and basically go slowly. And additionally, as I also say in every single video, please remember to like and subscribe. And for liking, I'm not saying that you should like for me. Liking doesn't do for anything for me yet. I don't get any revenue. It's not going to help me at all in any way. But liking will only help yourself, because if you like, then more people will get to see my videos, and people who have interest in programming will get to see my videos. So other people will see my videos, start enjoying them, and slowly it will just become better and better, and then more people will see my videos, and then people who have actual interest in programming can see my videos, and maybe their dreams will get fulfilled. Who knows? And why I'm telling you to subscribe is because maybe one day I'll just release a special Scratch video, an exclusive one that I released earlier than Saturday, or you just forget to check a Saturday, and if you subscribe, I'll actually get a notification. And not subscribing means you have to manually come and check everything. And I know, guys, clicking on a button is way too hard. I understand, y'all. Okay, I'm just a kid like you too, always using my phone. Okay, clicking on buttons are just weird. So if you subscribe, then you automatically get a notification, and you can just come and check out my videos. So please like and subscribe. Don't go crazy immediately. Do it for the cool. Remember all of this. You learned a lot today. Calm down. Make sure to experiment a little bit. And if you have other issues, just contact me with Facebook comments or on my Scratch profile too. That's also fine. So hopefully you enjoyed this episode of Scratch It on Saturday. I'll be making episode 10 next episode, which is really exciting. And I hope this is episode 9. I don't want to get that wrong just because I didn't make any videos for 4 weeks. And yeah, I'm not going to blabber for too long. Bye. But yeah, I've already talked too much. I mean, this video could have taken like 30 minutes. Have I been annoying you guys? I hope not, okay? I'm gonna stop annoying you. Bye.